Hello lovely creative friends, so glad to have you here to keep me company. I'm going to do an art journal page today. I'm going to christen up this beautiful brand new art journal that I just got. I've never actually tried this mixed media paper before, so it'll be a good test to see if it's good to use. I'll let you know my thoughts. And I'm going to start, you just never know when you break a new journal if you're going to do something fun on the front page or not. So I'm just going to leave the first one blank for now and then start on this page. And because it's all blank and there's nothing and I don't really know where I'm going just yet, the best way to sort of get in the flow, I always recommend, is to just fill the page with color and pattern and just loosen up and have fun with it. So let's just do that. Okay, wasn't that easy? All you do is just put a few blobs of color on your page and just spread it really loosely, and there you have it, a beautiful abstract background. How easy is that? I'm gonna dry this off before moving on to the next step. Okay, I'm ready to move on. I'm going to use a mask because it's got a lot of detail here and it's really going to break up this colorful background I've got. I'm going to use a contrasting color for maximum impact. So I'm thinking maybe some turquoise would be great. I think I'm going to use my Delusions paint for that, just because they're very opaque, so I'll make sure that the color stands out on this colorful background here. Are you guys ready for the big reveal? I'm quite excited. Hopefully it'll be cool. I'm not expecting the design to be perfectly crisp. That's fine. I'm not aiming for that. I just want some nice contrast. So here we go. Ooh, pretty. Very pretty. Isn't this quite dramatic and actually so simple to do at the same time? It really didn't take any effort at all. It's really cool. So I'm gonna let that dry and think about what I'm going to do next. Okay, everything's dry, and even though it looks pretty cool at the moment, I'm not actually planning on keeping this as the main focus of my page. I'm still sort of playing and loosening up and building up a bit of a background, I guess. So I'm just going to add a few more colors to sort of tone down some of the areas and make them a little bit more interesting. I'm going to use my Liquitex Basics paint this time because they're a little bit more transparent and I want to be able to still see some of the design showing through. We're getting a bit more of a rainbow effect at the moment, a few colors blending together. And so far so good with the paper, by the way. You see the paint is still wet and it's not really buckling or anything. I can't see anything bleeding through, so far so good. Happy with the paper, it's holding up well. And now I'm going to use this Caramel texture mat, or stamping mat as I like to call it, which is very flexible and that is normally used for polymer clay, but I love using them for stamping because they just give you a really crisp impression, and it's just fun to be able to place, you know, the exact bit of the design exactly where you want it without having to press the whole sheet in one go. So I'm just going to use part of these designs and just stamp it around my page just for some interest. Don't know if you're like me, but I could be stamping all day. It's just so much fun. So I'm just going to show you close up so you can see the detail that I've added. It's a little bit around the edges, a little bit in the center. I know some of it is going to get covered, but that's alright. Hopefully some of it will stay in the final design. If not, I can always add it again later. It's as simple as that. So I'm going to dry this to make sure that it doesn't move. I'm going to add a bit more color just to blend in some of the stamped areas into the background, and you know, just to tone down some of the areas and add a bit more color. Why not? It's hard to stop. Alright, so now I feel like I need some fine detail just to break up all this busyness, and I'm thinking some little dots or something like that. So I'm going to find a stencil, and I'm thinking, well, one of my go-to stencil, as you know, is the Dot Fade by Tim Holtz, which I really like. I've got the mini version here, so I might use that because it's got tiny holes. So I'm gonna try this. It might be actually too small, but we'll see. I'm gonna get one of my little paint daubers or dabbers, I'm not sure how you say it actually, and an ink pad. And yes, this doesn't always work that great with this technique in tiny holes, but we'll see. I'll just try it out. See if it comes through enough. Actually, it is there, so yeah, I'm gonna keep going. It's showing through more than I expected. Alright, so I've achieved the subtle effect that I wanted. I'm going to give you a close-up. See those tiny dots? You doing it with the ink instead of paint just made them a little bit more subtle, basically. And this little dauber or dabber is a bit old and it was just falling apart. That's why I've got bits of foam a little bit everywhere on my table now, so I had to use a new one halfway through. It's all good. So this I've used StazOn ink, by the way, so that just dries pretty much instantly. And now I think I'm going to play with this huge Caramel Studio stamp. I haven't seen one of this size and shape actually before. This one's got 3 huge strips. As you can see, this is A4 size, pretty much the same size as the journal, as you can see. And I really like the fact that this one is actually a vertical stamp, so you can stamp it this way, which is pretty cool, and I haven't really seen that anywhere else before. And I really like the fact that it's got these really crazy funky flowers. So let's just stamp that up and see how it looks, shall we? I'm going to use the same stone grey ink I just used and have some fun. Now I don't have an acrylic block for this. I'm pretty sure you can buy them, but I don't have one. But that's okay, I don't really need one. I can do without. I'll just have to be careful And I'm gonna ink this up. I'm just gonna ink up to here, basically, from here to here, because this other part is not attached to this design, and we can add it from the top of the page instead, basically. So I'm just gonna do this one for now. Doesn't have to be perfectly stamped, it's okay. Not aiming for perfection here. Alright, let's add this up. Obviously my background is quite colorful and busy, so it's not going to be a huge, like the stamp design is not going to scream out of the page, is pretty much what I mean. So you see, you can do without an acrylic block if you're careful. And just press evenly with your hands before peeling it off, and you'll be fine. Very cool. I could have gone a bit closer to the edge of the page there, but anywho. So this is what it looks like. Like I said, my background's a bit busy, so you may not be able to see it that much, but that's okay. I'm going to use this part now. Black has got the little dots around it, that's pretty cool. And I'm going to put it from the top, but here. There we go, pretty. Then I think I'm going to play with these other stamps that are on the sheet. Let's have a look. I'll show you the design so you can see a little bit better. It's upside down. This one has got some circles that are not attached together, so you could always pick one and just repeat it throughout the page, or just, you know, pick a few different ones, I guess. They all seem to have a slightly different design. Well, not quite actually, slightly different, but there's a, you know, some of them are repeating. And this one is more of a horizontal page stamp, but that could be cool as well, even from the side here, why not? It's a crazy world after all. Let's just go nuts and do it from the side. So same thing, I'm going to ink this up, and then I'm going to, let's see, I might overlap on here a little bit, so I'll probably start a little bit further down. Just do from here to there, roughly. So I'm going to ink this up, but not all the way down. Who says you can't have flowers coming from the side? Definitely not me, guys. I definitely encourage you to try and experiment and just play, because that's how you grow with your art, and that's how you develop. And that's pretty much what I'm doing here as well. If you're worried about not putting even pressure with your hand, you could always use your acrylic block and sort of actually stamp with it, but actually it sticks, so forget what I just said. Just do it with your hands. You'll be fine, don't worry. Doesn't have to be perfect. There we go, and obviously I've moved because I try to use this and be smart. But that's okay. Now this is a good thing actually, because I've kind of messed it up. It's a bit smudged on the side here. So what would you do if this happens? Well, you could just use a little bit of paint and go over just to sort of tone it down. So let's try, let's do that. I'm going to use some of my sort of slightly transparent paint again, so it doesn't cover too much of the background like we did before. And I'm just going to keep using the same colors I had so it doesn't get too messy. So there we go. Let's go over it and tone that down a little bit. Don't believe for 1 second that, you know, when you see a video, we don't have mishaps or issues as we go along. It's easy to edit them out sometimes, but it does happen. It happens to everyone, so don't think that it's, you know, everything looks perfect straight away, and that we think of ideas on the spot. That's not true, you know. I sometimes have to pause the video and just have a think about it, or sometimes I have to walk away because the video has or the camera has stopped recording, or I've run out of battery or whatever, or you know, it's just, it appears easy and smooth, but it's not always like that. Alright, so I've sort of hidden my mishap a little bit by using some of the colors I had before and just adding it on the side, and just so it didn't look too unbalanced, I kind of did the same on the other side. So now that way everything's kind of balanced and you could almost never know. You see, it's just, it can still see a bit of the stamped area, but not much. It's good. So now what can we do next? We've got these stamped areas that are going to be sort of the focus, but obviously they're a little bit lost in this busy background here. So you could just keep going with those colors, for instance, and just go around each shape without going on the shapes too much, just to sort of define the areas basically a little bit. That's pretty much all I'm going to do. So I'm going to use again another color that, or a color that I used before. I feel like I'm blabbing on today, don't you think, guys? Must be the heat. It's another hot day here in Sydney, and it's just got the fan in the background, just trying to keep me cool, but my brain is overheating a little bit, so I apologize for that. So I'm just going to go roughly around the stamped area here. It's not going to make it stand out that much, but just a little bit, without losing too much of the detail in the background. And you know, guys, not everything has to sort of jump out of the page every time. Yes, it's nice, but not all the time. Just go with the flow and go out with how you feel. That's the main thing. So I'm going to add a little bit more color on the edge here. Alright, so I can see my stamped areas a little bit more, but just as I was drawing my page, I thought I could be highlighting them a little bit more using a white pen. I'm going to just use a Jelly Roll pen for this. I'm sort of going to go over some of the areas. I think it's quite soothing to do that, and just, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just going to go over loosely and just have fun with it, really. Okay, I'm quite happy with the results. Like I said, it was very loose. I didn't follow everything perfectly. I added some of my little lines as well and made it my own a little bit, I guess. And you could always add more embellishments if you wanted to. That would be pretty cool as well. Just keep extending the designs. And I think I'm going to finish up with some kind of a border around. I think that would make it a little bit more complete for me. So I'm going to have a look around and see what I can find. Actually, I just thought, my eyes just went over to this stamp sheet, and I thought that would be pretty cool to use because it's a sort of flower theme, and these flowers are sort of, well, that one's slightly similar. They sort of echo the theme a little bit, so why not try to create some kind of a border using those? You might not think that you can, but you can pretty much do this with most stamps just by using part of the design and repeating it all around. So for instance, we could start with this one, and I'm gonna get my acrylic block, one that I can still fairly see through. Yeah, not that much, they're full of ink, that's all right. And what I'm going to do is just sort of stamp about half of it and repeat around. You can overlap if you like, and also you don't have to use the same one all the way around. I've got a few designs on this sheet here, so I'm going to use some of those and go all the way around. Alright, I'll show you what I was doing. See how you can use just a few simple stamps from one sheet and create your own border with it. Makes it very unique, I think. Happy with this. Alright, well, no work is ever complete with me with a little bit of gold, is it? You know, it's my go-to finishing color, so I'm gonna add a little bit more. But you know what, I don't feel like putting big blobs of it on here because the design is quite subtle and delicate, so I think I could stamp a bit more stamping with this gold ink pad. And let's see, how about repeating some of the flowers that I used on the borders. Alright, my hands are pretty filthy now. I think it's time to stop. So my page doesn't quite fit in the screen properly to show you up close. So please click on the card in the corner of this video. It will take you to my blog and you'll be able to see close-up photos of this page. And I'll also put the list of supplies that I've used throughout this video and also where you can get them from. So in the meantime, I hope that you've enjoyed this tutorial. And also my little rambling and chit chat, just, you know, to let you into my thought process. Thanks for keeping me company and have a great day. See you soon.